Okay. So I'll wait to see if he answers me. So I'll call the meeting to order. First thing we'd like to do is a roll call. To my right, Troy Larson. Myself, Jim Akabachi. I will be clerking and chairing this evening. Our chair is out of the country. We're going to try to get him to log on via Zoom. I'm waiting for an answer from him. It's 2 o'clock in the morning where he is. He may or may not be able to. To my left, Richard Simple, and on Zoom, our member, you can see her on the screen, Veronica Debonese. So we have a quorum, we're open, and we have almost everything on the agenda being continued to another date, except for 2 items. First thing on the agenda this evening that we would normally handle would be approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting. We don't have a copy of them. We haven't had a chance to review them, so we'll continue that until the next meeting. The next thing on the agenda is 11 Bridgeview Lane. Is there anybody here for that? Thank you. Come forward, sir. And this is a modification request?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Is this okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Set yourself up. I see Veronica has her hand up. Veronica, what's your question?
I just wanted to let you know that Nazi is not going to be able to make it tonight.
Okay, so you got an answer from him.
I did.
I don't blame him. Middle of the night. I talked to him a while ago. He sounded pretty tired. He was trying to hang in
Yeah, he
there.
said he wanted to try, but it's too late.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. So we'll be a four-member, as a result of what you all just heard, we'll be a 4-member board. We have a quorum, we can open, we can do business. Anybody doing a variance requires a supermajority. That means you need 4 yeses if you're in front of us tonight and you're looking for a variance. So if the 1, 2, 3 sitting here and the one online all say yes, you're good, but you're entitled to 5. So if it becomes your turn and you're looking for 5 members to be in front of you, you can request a continuance, as all but you and one other have.
Yeah.
Okay, just for everybody in the room to hear. So right now, we're talking about 1623 11 Bridgeview Lane, and your name and address and who you are and what do you want?
Yep, okay. I'm Don Bracken. I'm a professional civil engineer and a professional surveyor with Bracken Engineering out of Buzzards Bay. With me is Jeff Shaw. He's the owner of 11 Bridgeview Lane.
Okay.
So we're here tonight to ask the Board of Appeals if the changes that occurred during construction or reconstruction of a small cottage at this property requires another public hearing. So we received a special permit almost exactly a year ago for this project. I have on the board both plans, the one that was approved and the one that we submitted with our request. So the top plan shows what was actually constructed. So the special permit that was granted was based on a partial demolition of the existing structure, and it included a new foundation. So as Jeff, who was doing the contracting work himself, as he started the demolition and the process, there was really nothing left to really save efficiently. So he put the foundation in. The building inspector, I guess, saw the foundation. George Stewart, I'm not sure exactly how that transpired, but told him he had to stop and come back to the Board of Appeals for the change because the special permit only specified a partial demolition.
So the original permit that was issued didn't include a new foundation?
It did. It did. Yeah. Well, we're going to lift it, put a new crawl space foundation underneath it, and then save as much structure as possible and put it back down. So, and you can see.
So right now, you lifted it and it fell down, you threw it in the dump, you pulled out the foundation and poured a new one.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
about
much.
that's about the story.
That's the short version of it.
Yeah, the other issue was because it's partially in a flood zone, the foundation has to meet flood zone requirements, and when the foundation was dug for the crawl space, it was too deep. It couldn't go below the outside existing grade. So that was another concern that the building inspector had, but I mean, technically, we can address that without any issue. I just bring that up because there's probably some paper trail that
So what's,
indicates that.
so you need you're here for a modification request. What is it what's the modification?
Well, the modification is full demolition rather than partial demolition. And now that the foundation is in, there were some minor variations in the setbacks to the property lines. The first special permit was issued because, well, two reasons. One, you know, there's a main house and a cottage. The zoning district doesn't allow two dwellings on one lot. So the other was alteration of existing non-conforming structure as far as setbacks were concerned. So the variations with the new foundation from what was originally proposed, if you look at our plan, we sort of highlighted the area that shows what the variations are. So this is, it says in the back northwest corner of the property. So the board approved a 0.2-foot setback to the rear property line. It was installed at 1.1-foot setback. So that's actually more conforming than what was originally approved. And the side lot line, which runs next to this 12-foot passageway, the pre-existing setback was 1.2 feet, and the as-built is at 0.8 feet. So it got about 4/10 closer to that property line than what this board had already reviewed. And in my letter, I noted that, you know, the next abutting lot is on the other side of this way, so it's actually a private way. You know, I'm not saying who has rights to it or whatever, but it is a private way that was established on the original plans.
Okay.
So,
So, now, you're here to ask, do we need to reapply and come back in front of you as a whole new application? Or do we need to just come back and ask for a modification under our original application? Is that your question?
yes, because fortunately, which I found, you know, good as far as projects like this go, is that condition number 8 of your original special permit does allow us to come to the board with any modification so that you can make a determination whether we need to have another public hearing. So that's the bottom line. That's why we're here.
What I'm hearing so far, and I'll let my fellow members chime in a minute, but from what I'm hearing so far, yeah, I think you need to come back in front of the board, maybe under the same application, but more formally with, you know, I don't have anything. I guess I got this, but I shouldn't say I don't have anything. I got this. I can share this. I don't even have your folder. I guess it's been filed, but so.
Oh, okay, well, that was quick.
I shouldn't say I don't have anything. But my question is, I think I heard you say beach and water and words like that. So is there any comment or is there any discussion with the building department about now that the scope of the work has increased, do you need to go up on stilts?
Well, we definitely don't. Well, first, I should have probably mentioned also, we have conservation approval, and to meet the building code requirements.
Conservation approval for what was
For
approved?
building in the flood zone to begin with.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for tearing it down completely or for the renovations?
Well, even with the renovations, the foundation where it is right now complies with flood zone requirements. And so what we're gonna do, rather than have any crawl space, is fill it in and just turn it into a slab foundation system. And so it will comply with flood zone and building department requirements. The slab is high enough to meet those requirements. So,
So when you get done with the modification that you're proposing, you won't be required to go up on stilts?
no, definitely not up on stilts.
Is
We're
that, is
keeping-
that shown on this plan, or?
Yeah, it is. If you look on that same detail I was referencing, it says, existing crawl space to be converted to a slab. The original plan that you looked
But is there
at,
a plan for that slab and all that jazz that's been turned in yet? Or is it just this, this is it?
I think this is it, but I think that's adequate enough, even for the building department. If we have to supplement it with a letter, you know, a professional letter certifying that it meets requirements, we can do that.
Okay.
So,
So, I'm gonna see if anybody on the board has any, did you have more to say?
The only thing I wanted to point out is if you don't mind,
ahead.
refreshing your memory on condition number 8, and I think this is what we hope to rely on, that we could get through here tonight without resubmitting, is if you find that the modification is insubstantial, then, I mean, that's, in our opinion, we feel it's insubstantial, and it's, we're hoping to obviously save time and not have to come back and refile. And by the fact that that special condition is in there, I would assume that there's some flexibility, and as I said, we're very close to what was originally approved.
Here's my problem, here's my problem personally voting tonight, is that we're only seeing this for the first time now. Okay? So, unfortunately, we didn't get our agendas, in time to go
Okay.
look online and yank this all up. So, and your letter is, looks like it's comprehensive, but I'd like to read it completely before I make a vote. And I wouldn't ask the room to sit here while I read a letter. So I currently feel like I'll let Veronica and Troy and Richard grill you before I say too much, but I kind of feel like, yeah, we can hear you under your original application, but we really need to be able to review this and make you come back in 2 weeks.
I think we're definitely fine with that, under these circumstances. Yeah.
Unless anybody wants to, if Veronica raises her hand, I'm looking, I can see her on screen. If either you guys want to yell and scream and stop me, but I'm not hearing any objections to what I'm suggesting. So with that said, any questions? No. Any questions?
So
Veronica's waving, so yeah, go ahead, Veronica.
just have a question, I guess, for the other members of the board. I know for me, this kind of seems like it's a major modification. We were talking about a partial demolition to full demolition, and changes to setbacks, which don't seem significant, the setback changes, but I guess the question is, what other changes are there? And that's kind of like where I'm leaning. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but maybe if we could get a feeling for everybody, we can decide whether or not we should have them hold off for 2 weeks only to find out that it's a major modification, or find out now, if everyone is kind of feeling that.
Yeah, we would appreciate that as well, if there's any gut feelings on that, so we could decide.
Do either of you guys have a feeling whether it's major or whether we could hear it in the original application?
I do feel it's a major modification.
So that's 2 of you. So, so I don't need to hear any more because you don't have, the 2 of them feeling that way is enough. Doesn't matter how I feel or how Troy feels or how Nazzy, who's not here, doesn't matter, they win.
All right, well,
Because of the way the voting works.
Yeah, we thought it was worth
When I say win,
testing.
I'm not,
testing the condition anyway, so.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate the feedback, and so that's how we'll proceed. So we'll, I guess we'll proceed with an official.
consider it a major modification, come
Yeah,
back
an
at
amendment
us,
to the original special
full
permit.
bore,
Yeah,
and
all right,
that's why you're here, to
Do we
get that
wanna-
answer.
Right.
Vote on
At
that?
least you got the
Right.
answer you were after.
okay.
Or maybe it wasn't the answer you wanted,
Not what we hope for, but,
but you got an answer. So,
right.
Do we want
I
to
think-
officially vote on that, Jim? I can make a motion to, that this is a major modification.
I was just gonna ask for a motion, so I'll take that as your motion, that you move that this is a major modification.
Second.
Seconded by Richard. All in favor? Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
Okay, so it's considered a major modification, and I would like and so that's all you really
Yeah,
need to
we'll
know.
be back
You'll
in
come back with a full,
June, maybe.
brand new, we'll have a nice brown folder with lots of stuff in it, and
Okay,
we'll hear you.
okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thanks, good luck.
Troy, I'll take that back from you. I don't have a folder to throw it in, but we'll at least put it all in here and, okay. So now, major. Okay. On continued public hearings, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in front of us. All 4 people knowing the situation with members present and not present and out of the country, et cetera, have either for those reasons or for other reasons, put in requests for continuances. So one at a time, I'm going to call them, and we're going to take a vote on whether to or not to continue. The first one is 3923 Wareham Cranberry LLC. It's a use variance for 3020 Cranberry Highway, and they have requested a continuance until 5/22. And if anybody would be willing to make a motion to grant,
I make a motion to grant, to continue to May
5/22.
22nd.
May 22nd. Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second, okay, the motion's been made by Richard and seconded by Troy. All in favor say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
It's continued 4-0-0. I was going to give you a 5, but... Okay. The next one is 4923, same situation. They're asking to continue until June 12th. That's Kelsey McKenna and Jonathan Delamere, Appeal 504 Main Street, 4923. Do I have a motion to continue to 6/12?
So moved.
I have a motion by Richard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
4-0-0 again. It's continued until 6/12. The next one is 524 Walde Eldila, special permit and site plan review, 2544 and 2546 Cranberry Highway, requesting to continue until May 22nd. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Troy, seconded by
Me? I mean,
Richard?
aye.
all in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
It's continued until 5/22, 4-0-0. And just making sure nothing that's being sent to me is pertinent to this. Okay, it's not. The next one in front of us is 1024 Joseph Sergi. It's an appeal for 2 Sarah Beth Lane. They're also asking for a continuance until May 22nd. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Richard, moved by
Point of order,
yeah?
at the 2 weeks ago, you told, people that showed up that even though the continuance was till tonight, and they very well may ask for another one, you told us all to still show up because you would allow anyone to speak who wanted.
I think if you review the video, I didn't say I'd allow anybody to speak. I just said that you would want to come because they could have shown up. If they showed up and we had the hearing, of course you'd be allowed to speak. We're not going to have discussion on a matter where the applicant is not here. Your point of order has been heard. Thank you for your point of order. Joseph Sergi, we have a request for continuance until May 22nd. Do I have a motion for that continuance?
So moved.
Moved by Troy, seconded by
Aye.
Richard. All in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
It is continued until 5/22.
And
4,
5:22,
0.
we're gonna have to bring our pillows.
Yeah, because we've got
5:22 is gonna be a busy night.
everything's, yeah, we've got 4 items here,
Oh, and there's a bunch
maybe,
more already waiting.
maybe another one here, and then there's 2 more down, one down below. Okay, on new public hearings, there was a 1324 Diamond Investors were supposed to be a new application. They're not here. They've contacted seeking a continuance until 6/12. They're not prepared to go forward. I can't hear what I'm saying because you people are talking in the back room. If you want to talk, please go in the hall. Sorry, but it's very distracting for me. If you have a question, 1324 Diamond Investors LLC special permit has requested a continuance until June 12th. Do I have a motion to continue to June 12th?
So moved.
It's been moved by Richard to continue 1324 Diamond Investors until June 12th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
400 again. Okay, so... Sure. We're talking about 1324. This is Diamond Investors LLC. It's the request for a special permit for 2785 and 2785R Cranberry Highway. You're here for that? Yes. Did you ask for a continuance? No. Then I will rescind that hang on a minute. Do you have an attorney?
I'm sorry?
Come up to the microphone. Come on up.
They're abutters.
We're butters.
Oh, you're a butters.
And this matter was taken care of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I don't understand why it's coming up again.
Well, come up to the microphone, sir. State your name and address, and I'll try to answer your question.
This town is all questions. Joseph J. Cardoza, 2801 Cranberry Highway.
Okay. So your question is that
Why is this matter coming up again
this is
when he is...
Go ahead.
Why is this matter coming up when this owner has disobeyed the rules that he was given? Period.
Okay, so he was given some, so your question is, why is this matter coming up?
Yes.
Okay, and the answer to that is, this is a new application. This is a new matter. What happened 4 or 5 years ago is irrelevant to this application. This is a new application.
All right, I understand that, but what I'm... Another...
So that's the end of it.
The property hasn't changed. I'm not saying ownership.
I have no idea what the application isn't even for. He could be asking to paint the house pink. I don't know.
Well, is this matter was continued by whom?
By his attorney.
And no notification at all?
You're getting the notification now. You were given notice to be here, you're here, and now you're finding out that it's been continued until
Yeah, but
June
we come from
12th.
out of town. I come from out of town, and now you've changed it last second.
So we can't discuss this matter?
We cannot.
When is it continued to?
June 12th.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Go ahead.
just want to let you folks know, if you're coming from out of town and it's difficult for you to get here, you can always go on to the Zoom meeting like I have done tonight, if you don't want to travel, and you can participate that way.
Thank you, Veronica.
I'm not tech savvy, so I wouldn't be able to do that,
Okay.
so.
The only thing that bothers me is why they get a new
We
board.
can't discuss what bothers you tonight, sir, because we haven't even opened up
Okay,
there.
go ahead.
We haven't even
Go ahead.
opened up.
I'm all done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
that-
sorry, I
it's just
don't
that
mean
we
to shut you
even know-
off.
We don't even know what is going on until
you
we
should,
read it.
because the notice been
Excuse
going
me,
out,
sir.
is out.
Excuse me, sir.
Is the notice
Excuse
been
me,
out?
sir. Excuse me, sir. If they were here, they would be able to present their case, and we'd be able to understand what's going on. You yelling at us because they're not here is
I'm
not doing us
trying
any
to yell
good.
at you. I'm just trying to get my words out. The problem is,
He was given X number of cars, and
yes, he was given a rule already, so how they going to go by a different rule?
Well, we don't know what they're asking for. They may be asking for less cars. They may be asking to go from cars to horse and buggy.
Yeah,
We
but they
don't
ain't
know.
gonna, what they going to put on skyhooks?
I have the application.
Again, we're discussing a matter that hasn't even been opened, sir. You
Okay,
don't.
I don't want to get upset.
No, I don't want you upset. I just want you to understand that we have to take it in the right steps, and the step
I hope
is,
they do. I hope they do.
and you know, if there's something that happened in the past and you're aggrieved by it, when you come back, bring it up, but we can't discuss it this
How
evening.
many times can this be continued?
If it continues too many times, the board will dismiss it with prejudice. That's usually what happens.
So it's June 12th,
Yeah, so,
6:30, thank you.
but there is no rule on that. There's no hard, fast rule. I'm sorry, you know, you,
So, Mr. Chairman, this case was heard about 4 or 5 years ago, these folks were saying. So by right, they can come back every 2 years and reapply,
well, that was.
unless it's right, a denial
Well,
with
yes and no,
prejudice.
Veronica. We don't know that this is the same thing. Something by this applicant was heard 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't know what was heard 4 or 5 years ago, and I don't know what's being heard this time. If Sally Smith came in and asked for a hairdressing salon 5 years ago, and Sally Smith was in front of us tonight, I don't know if it's for a hairdressing salon, a car lot, or a pet grooming shop. I don't know that. It's a whole new application.
It says the applicant
It
now
has everything on
comes,
the application here.
applicant now comes before the zoning board to seek a required special permit for motor vehicle services so as to legalize the historic
That has-
property.
That's great, and that hasn't been read into the record yet, so we can't discuss it.
Let's go,
Okay,
before I get up.
Okay?
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you on the see you on the 12th. 12th, yeah. I'm sorry that that's the way, but that's, yeah. Thank you. I understand you have concerns, and come back on the 12th, please.
John's got his hand up.
What is it, John? You got something?
I got somebody with their hand raised online. It's your decision if you'd like to do it or not.
Is their hand raised in reference to this, or
Doesn't
something?
know.
All I see is a hand.
Let's see what they got to say.
They're in, they just
Joshua Hanson has his hand up, and he wants to speak.
Yeah, I was just curious because I'm in a butter as well, and they have tow trucks coming down our street. We live on Fanny's Lane. It's like
Joshua,
maybe
Joshua, I
100
have to
feet
shut you
the-
down. Mute him. Joshua, I just got done telling other people that would like to speak on this matter, we can't be discussing this matter until it's been read in and opened. It's not officially opened. It hasn't been read into the record. I understand you have things you want to say. It's been continued until June 12th. I hope you would log on June 12th, and we'll give you the opportunity to speak at that time.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Thank you for understanding. I understand you'd like to speak, and we'd like to hear you, but we want to hear you in a manner that your words count. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 1424. Joyce and Robert Beckett, special permit or variance, 6 Hammond Street. You can come up to the table and get yourselves comfortable, and I'll read it into the record, and we'll get it open. Once we get it open, you guys can decide if you want to continue or be heard tonight. You do have 4 members present, but again, you're asking for a variance, so you'll need a supermajority.
We will want to talk about that when we
Well,
get...
after I get it read in. Yep, sure. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on May 8th, 2024 at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 14-24 for a special permit and/or a variance from the requirements of Article 6 and Article 13 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Joyce and Robert Beckett, care of William H. Lockwood, Lockwood Architects, LLC of Onset, Mass., proposing a second-floor bathroom addition to the subject property located at 6 Hammond Street, Wareham, Mass. This appears on Assessors Map 2, Lot 59B, in the Onset Village 2 zoning district. Do I pass these out to my members, or do you want to comment first?
Well, I think we will proceed with the 4.
Okay.
We'll start with that. I'll start with my name, William
Yeah.
Lockwood, Lockwood Architects.
Thank you, William, Mr. Lockwood.
And with me are Joyce and Bob Beckett, the owners of the property. Do you have these?
I don't know if I do or not, but I'll take them.
There's another copy. Green receipts have been passed over to Josh.
Say it again?
Green card
The green cards,
documentation.
the green cards are in here, or usually they're not in here.
Okay, so I've just passed them to
So you've
Josh.
just passed them to him, so because they're just being passed into him now, and to give everybody fair, probably gonna continue before we make a vote tonight, because just for that reason alone, just to give us.
I believe I submitted them earlier to,
Okay, then maybe the,
I can confirm that.
you can
for all
confirm
here
them while
Before
we're,
you guys make a decision.
okay.
Sure.
okay.
Do you have the abutters list? Is it in your application?
yes, I did.
Do you have an extra application, Jim?
He should, he got,
A butters list?
Just give me one of the application packets. One of those.
Oh, one of them?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got
the
that.
list is in there. I got a couple that returned,
Did you
Okay.
get one?
I just gave him
That's fine.
Oh, okay.
but they all were sent.
Okay.
So it's in here?
The butters list is in the second section,
Okay,
Jim.
okay. So, while he's checking that, William Lockwood, you've got the floor.
All right, I'm going to start by,
Giving us more paper.
yes, I'll have a packet in front of you.
Yeah.
Change things before we even get started.
Okay, 1,
Thank you.
2. Thank you. 3. And I'd like some more for the folder.
I've got the requisite number here.
Okay, we'll put that in here for the,
Okay.
but keep some for yourself.
And then there's a narrative in there which we've also modified somewhat.
Okay,
Type of circumstance.
okay. So is this replacing either the front or rear folder?
Yes, it is. It's replacing this.
So I can take this one out, put this one in for my organization, okay. And then we'll go back to the beginning, okay.
Okay?
We're good, and you've got extras that are gonna go in here before. You need them for yourself, or,
Let me take one of these.
what about here, do you want one of them,
I
just?
have one of those.
All right, I'm gonna throw these in the folder right now.
So, did we took the old plan out of the back?
The back one,
And what did you do with that
The
one?
architectural
back
drawing.
folder, we can throw this one away, the one that was in the back of the folder?
Yes.
Okay. The one that was in the back, on these 3, we're throwing them away.
Well, it might keep them handy by way of comparison.
Oh, okay. Did you hear him?
Because that,
Not worried about it. I
what's
already
in the
read it.
back there is what was presented to the building inspector. So let's,
Okay, I've got more
there should be
here.
plenty in the room.
Yeah, I got more here. All right, so go
okay.
ahead, tell us what you're up to, and,
So the project involves construction of a second-story addition in the rear of the building over a current one-story section of the structure. The purpose of the project is to create a bathroom upstairs. Right now, in order to get to the bathroom from the second-floor bedroom, you have to go down a fairly treacherous stair, as is the case in many cottages in Onset. And they would like very much to have a bathroom on the second floor. We originally tried to tailor this project to come in under the 1391 dormer regulations, which is a permissive and incentive sort of zoning bylaw. We were denied by the building commissioner, which brings us here tonight for a special permit and/or variance. We believe that to address the variance issue, which is in the last sentence of the building commissioner's denial letter, where he suggests that we should seek a variance for the FAR rating. Whereas the FAR is currently in excess of the threshold already, and we are increasing it, but slightly, we feel we should be entitled to the protection of the special permit as opposed to the variance there.
So you're asking, number one, you're asking us to determine whether or not this qualifies for a special permit.
Yes.
And then second of all, you're asking us...
And of course, the other questions that you normally ask in order to make sure that it qualifies for a special permit would also apply.
Yeah. Is it a detriment to the neighborhood and all that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it qualify for a special permit, or do we need to go for a variance? That's going to be one determination that we'll make, and the other determination is going to be whether or not we'll grant it or vary it. Grant a special permit or grant a variance, but...
Precisely.
Okay, so...
All right.
So, go ahead.
So, the project, as I stated, is the second floor addition. It's as now, so since we were denied, and since we are before this board, we decided to increase the project a little bit to make it more palatable. We had proposed certain compromises to the project, so that we could call...
You tried to approach it without needing ZBA. Now that you need
Precisely.
ZBA,
Now
you're
that
going
we're
for the
here,
gusto.
we need to get something else.
Okay. Gotcha.
In other words, we want headroom. Bob's a tall guy, you know. Joyce is probably okay, but we had, so now we've raised the floor level up to match up with the second floor level. We've raised the roof up 2 feet so that Bob can stand in there without whacking his head. That's basically what we've done differently. It's 240 square feet of addition. It is within it's
Within the existing footprint, it's just on top of...
It's on existing
You got a
footprint
two-story
entirely.
structure, a two-story with a one-story, all one, and you're gonna take the one-story part and make it two.
Correct. That's it,
That's the nutshell.
nutshell. And, you know, in order to do so, we are operating within the setbacks. It's onset. It's about 5 point something to 6 feet on each of the 3 sides which we're operating. We will be not changing the lot coverage, not changing the building coverage, changing the FAR from about 52 to about 59%. We will be raising the height of the building by about 2 feet, from 20.5.
You're still gonna be under the 35.
Well under.
21 to 23.
Yeah, we're going to get up to 22.7, I guess, instead of 35.
So if I've listened and looked, and so what I hear so far is you're not increasing any setback, you're not increasing, the only thing you're increasing is the floor area ratio as far as variances and setbacks, or are part of the house already in non-conforming pre-existing status?
Well, most everything's in non-conforming
Okay.
pre-existing, yes.
Okay.
So it's,
So where you're going up, that house, that first story that's gonna become 2 stories, it may not be within the setbacks, but you're not increasing the setback, you're just going straight up.
It will, you know, it'll be 5 to 6 feet off of the property line instead of the 10 that's required.
Okay, so you're off 6 now, you'll continue to be off 6. But
Precisely.
instead of being off 6, 8 feet tall, you'd be off 6, 12 feet tall.
Something, 10.
Something, I'm making
something
up
like-
numbers, but I'm just, the
Something
main
like
reason I'm
that.
asking this is because Veronica doesn't have the benefit of plans.
Understood.
So I'm trying to be,
And thank you for,
see her paying attention, and she,
thank you for assisting
yeah, okay.
my labored presentation here.
And if I may, Jim?
Go ahead.
I believe I read somewhere that it's also the dormer specifications are not supposed to be higher than the original ridge of the
Yeah,
house.
but,
And this is also...
and that
it's-
goes back
excuse
to
me,
my original statement, Richard, that He turned us down on that. We didn't go above with our original application. We were denied, so now we might as well go above.
That answer, was that what your question was? Pretty
That's all.
much?
Just
and
trying to
I-
include, because I didn't hear that being included on what was going on. I heard the FAR, which is at 63 feet, percent, and I heard 58%, so I was just curious about that, too. Mr.
Yeah,
Walker, you said
and the-
58%, and it says here that, from the building inspector, FAR would be 63%.
We have different ways of looking at that, perhaps.
Okay?
He is looking at it as something he calls usable space, and while attics are usable, they are not, they don't qualify under the FAR definition.
So you're going by rentable space, and he's going by
Well,
cubic feet.
I believe the definitions in question, and in my revised statement here, the floor area ratio and the floor area, comma, gross are the two definitions in question here.
Okay, so what's the floor area existing?
About 52%.
52% by your numbers.
Yes.
And what's the proposed?
About 59%.
59%, okay. And the inspector, I haven't had a, it feels as though you're going to 60-something percent?
63.
Well, yes,
3.
and, okay,
Commissioner says
if you accept his definition, that's fine.
63%. Okay, I just trying to,
I don't see any substantial difference.
so you got the 59 on the difference between the existing floor space and the floor space you're adding, and he got the 63 by your addition plus the attic
Plus,
over the addition.
including the mechanical and storage space.
Mechanical and storage space?
Yes,
Okay, and is that at the same floor level as the bathroom?
it is the same floor level as the
Okay, I
bathroom.
can see where he got his 63 then,
Yeah,
you know, and
Well-
I'm just trying to determine,
that's fine.
You know.
And, you know, we can,
because sometimes people will come in and call a room a closet, and it's 12 by 15, and that's not a closet. You know, and so,
well, it depends on what house you're in, I think.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Not in my house,
I mean,
but
there are 12 by 15 walk-in closets, don't
Yes,
get me
there are.
wrong, but, but they're counted, you know. they're-
yes, they're not counted as auxiliary spaces anyway.
So, okay, so as a board, we have to determine what, you know, you're at 52, you're admitting to 59, and the commissioner is saying, well, it's really 63, and so we got to make a judgment call on that in our own hearts, okay?
And if you want to call it 63, call it 63. I don't think it makes any difference to the deliberation.
So,
No, I was just making sure everything was covered, sir.
so
Understood.
FAR is, so we're looking at FAR, and what's the other thing we're looking at? We're looking at, we're expanding a pre-existing non-conforming use.
Correct.
Are those, is that what we need a variance or a special permit for?
That's typically your consideration, yes.
I'm just trying to see, if you guys had a chance to look at his letter yet?
It's a long one.
Non-conforming structures, zoning protection. His letter goes on 2 or 3 pages, so I want to make sure everything that he's denying you on, we're either acting on, or I don't want to act on part of the denial and have him say, ah,
Oh, no, we want a holistic
yeah,
decision.
we don't want to fix the toe and lose the leg, you know?
Well, sure.
So, okay,
So a special permit or variance on one, a variance on the other, is what I get.
what do you get?
I said, I'm reading at the end here, and he's just saying, there's a special permit and a variance for one and a variance for the other, for the floor ratio. And a special
A
permit.
special
for
permit or a
construction.
variance must be secured for the construction of the structural and a variance for the excess floor. So, okay. So we can give you a special permit on the second floor, but you still need a variance on the FAR. The FAR, I guess, requires a variance according to the commissioner. It can't be approved. FAR can't be approved.
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm reading it here, and I'm not sure I understand either, and I may need to look at the bylaw for a minute. Variance for the excess floor area ratio. So can either of you guys look at the bylaw quick and see if you need can a FAR be granted under a special permit? That's the question. That's section 13 something, isn't it?
13, well,
I'll look myself.
What's the,
it appears in the table, 620, I'm not sure where the background legislation lives.
Yeah, he's not directing me, and, well, maybe looking earlier in the letter, maybe he is directing us to the specific area of the bylaw.
628 is the only place that speaks about FAR, except for the definitions, to my knowledge.
so it's just...
I see
is this a s-
1352.
And what size is the lot?
The lot is 1,590 square feet.
1,590 square feet?
1391, here's the bylaws that he's addressing. 1391, 1392, and I think,
And if I may,
628, existing small lots.
Exactly where I'm at right now. Yep. So he's under 5,000, so it would be 30% for the FAR.
And
it would be
1350.
25%.
1350
Because
and
it's a village lot as
1352.
opposed to,
Was it 15? What was the total? Maybe I misunderstood you.
we're in a village district, so it's 25% instead of 30%.
Okay.
Actually, I was asking for what the square footage was of the lot that you told me. I thought I understood it.
90, sir.
What is it?
1590,
1,590?
Yeah.
So that's 1,590 square feet?
That's right.
yes. It's perhaps one of the smallest lots in the village.
So
And
it's
did you name
1,500
it the
square
button?
feet, and I'm told it was 25. Isn't this 0
you
to
name it?
5,000?
No, we did not.
That's 30%.
You inherited that.
We inherited that.
Is that 0 to 5,000? He's saying it's 1,500,
Yeah,
he's
it's
telling me
cute
it's
as a- yeah.
25%. Am I reading this wrong?
So what's 5,000?
No,
is it
15.
Lot size.
Yeah, so 15.
What's your
his-
lot size on this?
1590, which is well under the 5,000.
Okay.
He's spouting 20, he told me 25. I believe it's 30.
The new bylaw,
Is this-
newest bylaw is calling for 30%, and dimensional standards just...
In the village district?
Right, the village district is 25, the far max by percentage. is
So what are
25.
you in there? Are you not in the village district
I
there?
thought it was.
Yes,
a
we
small
are, and
lot.
it's an
It was in the small lot exemption.
it's an OV2 district.
So, did you have anything else you want to present before I open this up to public? I want to see if there's anybody here from the public that has comments. That's important for our,
I think we'd have at least one person.
okay, did you have anything?
I do not have anything
At this
further.
time, okay. Veronica, any questions before I open it to the public?
I am wondering, they have had renovations to this property for the last 3 years, it looks like, from the field card 22, 23, and now 24. So I'm wondering what those renovations were, for one. And then the other comment that I have is this is a very small lot, and the house, just looking at the pictures, I mean, I haven't gone by the site, looks very big on the lot. But I'm just interested to know also what those alterations have been. They've been pretty substantial cost-wise on the field card.
We have no knowledge of anything. I don't know what you're referring to.
Or maybe I'm misunderstanding the field card. Let me read it again. Maybe it's just an appraisal thing here. Valuation year improvements. No. I see improvements here, 22, 23. Am I reading that incorrectly? It says
Well,
improvements.
the assessment goes up on an annual basis, but
April 24, 23.
no work has been done there since these people...
Nothing's been done?
Let me show you something.
No work.
Has no work been done on the property?
No, none.
The new one like I was supposed to.
No, just maintain.
That's just the valuations.
I'll go get mine. Should print it in another one.
Well, do you want to look at it tonight?
No, now that I know.
Okay. Sorry, we got two conversations going on. Go ahead, Veronica, I kind of heard half of what you said. Do you want,
I'm just wondering if there's been work on the property. I'm reading the card and it says improvements, and under each year it has an improvement listed. Maybe it's just,
you're looking at the field
The,
card from the assessor's office.
assessment going up each year, I don't know.
Yeah, they keep raising the assessment. That's what that is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't determine whether work has been
Okay.
done or not.
yeah, no work.
So no improvements have been done in the last few years on the property?
No, not at all.
This would be the first if we could get this.
How long have you had the house?
2010, this will be our 14th year.
14 years, and you haven't done any additions since the time
No.
you've had it? Okay. So, I understand she saw I got my tax bill, and I got my insurance bill, too. My eyebrows went up. So, any other questions, Veronica, before I...
I do not, nope,
Okay.
thank you.
Troy, anything? Richard, anything? Okay. I see there's people in the room, so is there anybody in the room that would like to speak on this matter?
Yes.
Okay, come up, you say your name, grab a microphone, say your name and your address.
Kathy Judd, 8 Hammond Street, Onset.
Okay,
And I'm a neighbor, we're very close, all the houses are very close, and I don't see any problem with this, but it's not gonna block anybody's view or block anybody's house or anything. It's,
so you took the time to come here tonight and say you're okay with it?
yes.
Usually people take the time to come and fight stuff.
Well, there's
You're a good
so
neighbor.
much negativity in the world, and they're wonderful neighbors.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Thank you for your
This
input.
close, if anybody was gonna complain.
So,
I
and is
couldn't
there-
put my generator where I wanted it, because we're so close, so.
And they let you, oh, so, okay. And your generator doesn't keep them awake at night, huh?
No, it's an
It's a
No.
quiet one.
test at 10 in the morning, so they're up by then.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the room that would like to comment on this matter? Come on up.
Hi, Brenda.
Brenda Ekstrom. I know this area. All the houses are close together. I don't think putting a bathroom on the second floor would do anything to impact negatively on this area. And I just wanted to let Veronica know that I just looked up the field card, and the improvements, what that means is the house valuation. And it looks as though this house itself has gone up about 50% over the last 2 years in value. It has nothing to do with the improvements is any improvement on the land. That's what it means. So I was a former assessor on the Board of Assessors in this town, and that's what that means. So I don't want you to think that they're being disingenuous or anything. That's all that means. Thank you.
Thank you
All
for
right, thank
coming
you,
up.
Brenda.
And while you were looking that up, that was already explained, but thank you for bringing it into more clarity. Anybody else that would like to speak on this matter? I see people in the back of the room. Are you just here for the entertainment value? Okay. Thank you. That said, the board, any members of the board, any more questions? Okay. So, 1391, that's regarding the setbacks, and I'm reading the rules here. I personally don't have a problem
Yeah,
with...
and in fact, 1391 is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's almost, yeah, but it's, but it's
Other than the,
listed in the commissioner's reasoning for the denial, or why you're here, or why we need to consider it.
Correct.
So I'm saying, from my point of view, I don't know what other board members feel, but from my point of view, 1391, I kind of agree with you. Where 1392 regards the dormer business, and if I heard correctly, you can continue or you can expand a dormer, but you can't raise it. You can't make it taller than the existing roof.
yes,
So you're asking for relief to allow it to go 2 feet higher than it
well,
would.
we're saying he didn't approve it as a by right. I would say that the 1391, 1392 would fall under the category of incentive zoning. The incentive being, if you will do it this way, we won't make you go to the Board of Appeals. That's the incentive.
Now you're here, so you want
So now that we're here,
to be able to stand up.
we've been disincentivized, so we would like to be able to stand up in the bathroom.
Okay, I get it. I mean, I've seen plenty of these old houses where when you go into the bathroom, you have to,
Yeah,
you want to stand up to use as a man,
And-
you have to stand like this, but as a woman, you can sit down. Well, men can sit down too, though, I guess.
You can.
We're talking about shaking hands.
It's always an
right?
option.
That's what we do, when we shake hands. Okay. Okay, so I'm okay with those. Let's go on to 628, existing small lots. I think that's what gets us into the FAR business. Village districts here is side setbacks is all he's showing us. Article 13, non-conforming, 1352. A non-conforming structure built on the same foot to an increased building height. Okay. So there we go, 1352 is regarding you're not increasing the setback, you're just making it taller.
That is correct.
And 1353, I could just take your things out here, but you got holes through it, I gotta rip past them, that's all right, I'm reading it. Is found to increase the non-conforming nature of the structures found for zoning boards for substantial motion. Okay, so if we find it to be more substantially detrimental to the neighborhood, it will require a variance. So first, we have to determine whether this is detrimental to the neighborhood. If we find it not detrimental to the neighborhood, we can act as a special permit.
Correct.
That's what I needed to read. Now I understand why his letter said what it said, and where it said it. If everybody's listening, if anybody feels as though I misinterpreted that, but I don't think I did. So we've heard from a neighbor, we've heard from a town member, we've heard from the architect. Any questions from the board? Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yep.
The abutters were properly notified, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
And the town consulting engineer is in the audience if you have any specific questions that you would like him to answer.
I
You
don't,
can-
and I
you can
won't put,
Utilize him.
I won't, well, I could, but I won't put him on the spot because there's been no nobody's kicked any money to pay him to be here. He's here. He's here for the entertainment value. See, we do, you know, it's a small crowd, but we do draw a crowd. We'll be here
Yeah, we're here every Wednesday, something like that.
every other Wednesday, you know,
Yeah.
yes. So, thank you for being here.
How many
Mr. Chair.
bedrooms? I'm sorry. I know it's probably on the card. I just can't see it.
It's 2 bedrooms, Veronica.
2. Did you get your answer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. So,
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, are you motioning that you feel as though this is non-detrimental to the neighborhood and we can treat it as a special permit?
Yes.
And do I have a second on that
Yes,
motion?
this is non-detrimental.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
Okay, so we have voted unanimously, of the four present,
Thank you.
that this qualifies for a special permit. We don't find it to be detrimental to the neighborhood. Now we can act on it. Veronica, do you might make another?
Before we, I'm sorry, before we do that, do we have to close the public portion?
That would be a great next motion.
Yeah, I'll make that motion. I should have
The
done.
motion's been made and seconded by Troy, because that was,
Yep, I
his
second
cough
that
was
one
a
too.
second. That we close the public portion of this hearing. All in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
It's closed. Nobody can speak on this matter anymore other than board members to vote, although the board could have. Any further discussion amongst the board?
No,
Got
I'll
a
make a motion
motion?
to approve.
Motion, you move to approve as presented by plans submitted by Lockwood and,
Architects, LLC.
okay, for an addition to 6 Hammond Street, Nauset, Mass. It's been moved and, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Richard?
Aye.
Guess what?
We passed.
It could have been painful, but we made it easy.
It was great entertainment.
See?
Thank you. See you in the
Thank you. Thank you for your comprehensive, as usual. You always do a good job on your presentations with pictures, and that helps.
I would like not to have this binder the way it is, to make it a little easier for us to read through it, so if you could do something to
If you
improve
would,
that,
if you
could do
would
something to
request a
improve,
different type of binder, I will be happy to provide it.
I would appreciate it, because I'll tell you what.
But not
there's
for next
nothing worse
month,
than
because you've
being able to
already
read.
got a couple.
There's
If you're gonna
nothing,
get, if it's gonna help you get yeses for your clients, you'll buy
Whatever.
whatever kind of binder we want, huh?
And if for entertainment value, you need me to sing, dance, whatever. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Good luck with your addition, and now, you know, you can take a manly pee and stand up.
I don't have to walk through the living room on my towel. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
piece of shit.
Thank you.
Josh, can I get an updated bylaw for the next meeting?
Yeah, yes. The shorter answer is yes. It's going to
That's
be
all that's-
updated again, probably
I just
after you
want the
get
same-
new one.
I just want the same one as him, and I want all of us to have the same one.
Okay.
I don't realize that I had an old one, and I don't know why I have an old one, because these guys have got one. I
Right.
would like one.
Well, that's because
There is no because. Why?
because they like us, and they-
That's fine.
it was probably an oversight. It was probably, I got it.
Well, there's nothing worse than looking something up and then being told that, you know.
I got it, and
everything's
I got
changed.
it because I went and asked for it, because I heard it changed, but I don't know if this is...
So anyway, that just,
The short answer is yes.
Yep.
The long answer is there were changes approved at the fall town meeting that were approved by the AG recently that have now been publicly noticed or are in the process. And by the time those get revised, you will quickly get another updated bylaw.
I just
So
want to be on the same page as everybody. There's
short
no
answer
sense.
is yes.
Thank you. Thank you, that's all I need to know.
And Mr. Vice Chair, if I may.
Yes.
There's been a request by the building commissioner that the zoning board sets a time limit for accepting new material. His reasoning for this is you guys receive an application, he does a review of it, he writes a letter on that review, and then the night of the meeting, you're getting a revised plan that has
That he hasn't had the chance to see.
and hasn't had a chance to make comments on. So, as your board, you can make a provision that says you won't accept any new materials, you know, X days in advance, and if you do have revised materials, maybe you
I
just
think it's a
settle that
fair
with a
request.
continuance.
fair
think
request,
that-
but do we wait until everybody's together?
I think we should, yeah, I think we should,
I'll put that on the next
yeah,
agenda.
please put it on the agenda, please, for the next meeting, that we discuss it, and maybe ask, it's really, it's a no-brainer, I get why he wants it, it's a fair request, but maybe ask the commissioner to just do a, 30 words or less, or as many words as he wants, but quick in writing, the reasons why, so that he gets a chance to review it. So that
okay.
when, so that.
You
so
just
when
want
it-
an
so it's on
official
the-
request.
So, yeah, so when the
Okay.
agenda item comes up, we get something for everybody to look at and absorb what's being asked.
Sure.
Sometimes it's hard to listen, and there's, like, people's in the back of the room, so you got it in front of you.
Yeah, I
He
think that's
wants,
appropriate.
yeah.
I think it's a little tough for you as a board to make a decision on something you're seeing while someone's trying to explain a project to you as well. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
I'm
it-
fully for it.
Yeah,
'cause,
I think it helps everyone.
I don't think it's
I
gonna
mean,
be.
just like we get this tonight, all of a sudden he comes up and he starts throwing new plans down on us.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, I go online, I do my homework, I like to look them up before I come in, so I know what I'm talking about. And then you get the new plans. It's kind of throws a
now you're
monkey
sitting
wrench in.
there-
And then you're sitting there trying to look at it, and you got people talking and things, and it's,
Usually when we get new plans, we often end up continuing, but he's right, we have acted,
and
I can't name specific times, but we have acted. Tonight, we just acted on new plans.
Right.
He may have looked at the new plans and said, I changed this, and this, or I add this, and this.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do
But
that,
they're
you
still
should probably,
subject to standard conditions, and they're still subject to his review of the altered plans, so if he
so
finds...
what would we be looking for as far as the next meeting to be able to make the call on it? I mean, how does it work? Like,
yeah,
how?
I mean,
Or do
you're,
they just need to get the stuff into him within so many days before the meeting so he can look at it?
right, I think
I think
you
that the-
and his review,
I'm just asking
if
you,
you,
yep.
if you get it a week in advance, I think that gives you plenty of time to review it. And at least you guys will set a standard for everyone moving forward.
I think the best, my opinion, and we'll discuss this as an official agenda item at the next meeting, but my personal opinion is that the board make a decision that any application that gets revised plans handed to us during the meeting will not get a final vote.
Will it get
You're
continued?
gonna give us new plans as of tonight, we got 3 minutes to look at it, we'll look at your plans, but we'll vote at the next meeting.
Yep.
And that way the building inspector gets his chance.
Yeah, just put it in your rules and regs that if you give us plans prior
But
or
that's just-
after,
that's
after
just-
the deadline,
yeah.
then it's likely gonna be continued.
That's an unofficial opinion, that's not, what we'll discuss,
Right.
just for anybody that's watching. We're not setting policy tonight, we're just discussing what we're gonna discuss next time.
I think it was appropriate to bring up tonight as it.
No, thank you, and Veronica's hearing it, we've all heard it, Nazi will be the only one that hasn't heard it. Nazi's pretty good about going online and watching the video. He doesn't want to miss any of the entertainment value either. And, Mr. Cadero, were you here just as a sheer courtesy tonight, or were you here for one of the things that got continued?
For one of the things that got continued.
And so you drove down here, you figured, too much fun to go home now.
That's right. Once I'm here, I'm here.
Once, yeah, I get you. Okay. So I think we've done all our business. Is there anybody here that has anything they want to bring up in front of the board before we come to a close? Come on up.
Brenda Ekstrom. I have it on video if you'd like to see it. You opened the hearing on to Sarah Beth. Once the hearing is opened and you told people that they could submit things, first of all, you don't have to keep continuing things.
No, we don't have to, but we
I know.
chose to.
I know that.
Places to go.
And before you snap at
I
me,
want to go places. I don't want to sit here and get chewed out.
Yeah. Are you here to chew us out? Are you here to edify us? Are you here to
No, excuse me.
run for an election? What is your
No,
purpose?
excuse me, Jim.
No, I don't really want to excuse you because I think you're here for personal reasons. I
What
think you're trying to
personal
promote
reasons, Jim?
yourself and make yourself look smart. We've done everything
Jim,
according to the rules.
You didn't do anything by the rules last time. You yelled at me, told me I was wrong, and the only reason why that you clarified it tonight was because Joshua got an email just before the meeting. I brought a copy of the email for all of you because I didn't know Joshua was going to be here. You should be apologizing to me.
If you would like an apology-
the former chairman,
If you would like an apology, I have one prepared for you right now. Are you ready to receive it?
because
Then you don't want one?
Because
Then
you
you're here to
won't give
waste
me
our
one.
time.
Because you wouldn't give me one. You should have given it to me at the
Giving you
beginning.
what?
An apology.
I'll give it to you right now. This town has tolerated your nonsense
that's the thing.
repeatedly and entitled you to come in here and behave this way, and
Jim,
for that, I
I-
apologize.
You know what, Jim? And that's what I'm
I
talking
make a
about.
motion to close this meeting.
I second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Veronica?
You know,
There's been a
hey,
motion to...
Jim, you should have given someone else the clerk's position. You don't do two jobs. Stupid jerk.
Did she say
Veronica?
Do you want to make that motion again?
The motion was made to adjourn.
Okay, I'll second it.
And it's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Veronica?
Aye.
aye?
Aye. It's adjourned.